All right, so what we're talking about today is measuring and constructing segments. The first thing we're going to do is our learning targets is we have to know how to write and solve equations dealing angle and segments. We are not dealing with angles yet. We are just mainly dealing with segments, so that'll be the focus of everything. And we will be talking about finding missing measures. So let's first of all remember our vocabulary. Remember, vocabulary means congruent. Congruent is shapes. And so if I have two congruent segments, this is segment AB, I can show that it's congruent by putting tick marks. One tick mark equals one tick mark, or two tick marks equals two tick marks. Those are congruent. Now when you do congruent, because it's shapes, you have to say what it is. Segment AB is congruent to segment CD. When we talk about equals, equals is dealing with measurements. It's not dealing with shapes. So when we have equal measures, we can say that AB equals CD. One thing I want you to notice is that, let's get a highlighter. When you have this above, oops, when you have the squiggly above the equal sign, just remember you have to have things above the letters too. So when something's above, it has to be above everywhere. If you don't do that, then it's going to be marked wrong because it's kind of messing things up. Okay, segment addition postulate. Remember, it says that if I have one small segment plus another small segment, I get the whole thing. So the first small segment is right here. And then if I add the second small segment right here, I end up getting the whole thing, which is this whole thing. And so the rule that we write for this is we say that AB plus BC equals the whole thing AC. So one small piece plus the other small piece equals the whole thing. So that's the segment addition postulate. Now let's go here and let's actually look at some problems. The first set of problems, all we're doing is finding the distance. And when we find the distance, I'm just actually counting from A to B. So I go, there's one step, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the distance from A to B is 6. Do not count where you started. Some people will start counting here where it says A, and then there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not right because you didn't take a step yet. You think about it as steps. All right, let's change colors to the next one. So from B to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the distance from B to D is 8. Now on the coordinate plane, you do the same thing when they're horizontal and vertical. When they're diagonal, we'll learn about that later this chapter, but for right now, horizontal and vertical, we can just count. Now it says EF. I can start at E or I can start at F. It really doesn't matter because when you count distance, it's always positive, and I should write that. It's always positive because even if you go backwards, you're still walking a distance. It doesn't mean you're going -5 feet if you take 5 steps backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though I went to the left, it's still a positive number because distance is positive. All right, and now let's do the next one, A to G or F to G. So F to G is just a straight line, so going down, so vertical. 1, 2, 3, oops. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the distance from F to G is 6. So all you do is you count your steps, and remember, you don't count where you start, you count after that. All right, let's look at the next problems. For the next problems, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a picture. When it says between means that it has to be on a straight line. So A and B are on a straight line, and it says somewhere that C is in between. I'm not going to put C in the middle unless it says the middle. So that's what the picture looks for this. And if I were to do my segment addition postulate, remember it's one small piece, which is AC, plus the other small piece, which is BC, it gives me the whole thing, which is AB. All right, let's look at the next one. This next one says D is between B and C. So I'm going to start off by drawing B and C. And then it says D is in somewhere in between. I'm going to, again, I don't put anything in the middle unless I know it's in the middle. Now here's a tricky part. It says C is between A and D. The issue is that you already have a C and you already have a D. You cannot write letters twice. Once you write a letter, that's all you can do. So somewhere I have to put my A so that it's on the same line and C's in between it. Yeah, you're right. You're going to extend this out and there's A. Now this has 3 pieces, but you could still do this. The first small piece is BD plus the second small piece, this middle one, is DC, plus the third small piece is the right piece, which is CA. Oops, I wrote a plus instead of an equals instead of a plus. And now the whole thing is from B to A. Okay. All right, now let's start using this segment addition to actually find some answers and some values. So let's start off with number 7. For number 7, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my picture. And again, it says A is between B and C, so I put a B and a C. And then I put A somewhere in between. Now, when I put my numbers on my picture, my small pieces I put above, the whole thing I put below. So it says B to A, which is this distance here, is 8. And then it says A to C is 14. Well, remember the rule is one small piece plus the other small piece equals the whole thing. I'm looking for BC. So I don't know what BC is, so I'm going to put that as X. Now, what some people will do is they will actually put a big plus sign in between. Because remember, one small piece plus the other small piece equals the whole thing. Now, 8 plus 14 is 22. So X is 22. So that tells me BC is 22. Because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for this BC. All right, for number 8, same thing. You draw a picture. B is between A and C. So I put B somewhere in between. And now I put my numbers on my picture. A to B is 7.5. So between A and B, I write a 7.5. Now this is different. It says A to C is 18. A lot of people just want to right away put it up here, but it says A to C. So you could do your squiggly. Some people have a hard time doing your squiggly, so you can maybe do this to show that this is 18. I don't know what BC is, so I'm going to put an X there. So remember the rule, one small piece plus the other small piece is the whole thing. So I'm going to put a plus sign here. So my equation is 7.5 plus X is 18. So now I have to solve that. And to solve that, to get rid of a 7.5, I'm going to subtract it on both sides. And so I get X is 10.5. And again, X was BC. So BC is 10.5. And there's the answer. So again, for these problems, the first thing you do is you draw your line, then you put your numbers on it, and then you say first the small piece plus the small piece equals the whole thing. All right, let's look at one more that's a little, or we have 2 more. Let's look at number 9. That's a little harder. You start off by, again, drawing your picture. A, C, and we're going to throw B somewhere in between. I put my numbers on my picture. It says A to B is X plus 6. It says B to C is 18. And it says A to C is 35. Well, remember the rule. One small piece plus the other small piece equals the whole thing. So now I'm going to use that. There's my mouse. There it is. So my first small piece is X plus 6 plus my second small piece is 18 equals my whole thing, which is 35. So I draw my line down. I can combine my like terms, and I get X plus 24 is 35. And then to get rid of the 24, I minus 24 on both sides. And so get X is 11. Now, if you notice, it said to solve for X. And since I solved for X, I'm done. So this problem is a little harder because you have an equation, but it's something that's totally doable because you know the process. All right, let's look at this last one. And it says, given that D is between C and E, so I'm going to draw that picture. Again, you're going to get really good at drawing these pictures. Oops, and there's one more after that too. Keep sneaking up on me. So it says solve for X. So sometimes I will highlight as I'm going so that I know it says solve for X. Okay, and it says C to E. Now that's the whole thing. C to E is 33. D to E is 2x plus 10. And C to D is x plus 2. Well, remember our rule, one small piece plus the other small piece equals the whole thing. So my first small piece is x plus 2 plus my second small piece, 2x plus 10, oops, I lost my plus, equals the whole thing, 33. So again, I have like terms, a 2x and a 1x makes 3x, a 2 and a 10 makes 12, equals 33. I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. And so I get 3x equals 21. And if I divide by 3, x is 7. And if I go back, I look, I've already highlighted it. All I'm doing is solving for x, so there's my answer. All right, last problem. Let's see if I can insert some space so that we can see it. There we go. Okay, so again, I need to draw my picture. It says B is between A and C. It says A to B is x plus 2. B to C is 2x plus 15. And now A to C is x plus 21. Well, same idea. One small piece plus the other small piece equals the whole thing. And so my first small piece was x plus 2 plus my second small piece, which is 2x plus 15, equals the whole thing, which is x plus 21. I draw my line down and I start solving my problem. I'm going to combine my terms and I get 3x plus 17 equals x plus 21. This time I have to move this 1x, so I'm going to subtract it, and remember it has to go with the x. So I get 2x plus 17 is 21, minus 17 on both sides, and I get 2x is 4, and divide by 2, and I get x is 2. Well, let's go back and read the problem and see what it says. And if you notice, it doesn't say find x, it says find AB. Well, AB is this right here. Well, I just found out that x was 2. So instead of x, I'm going to write in a 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So that tells me that the length of AB is 4. This problem, number 11, is a worst case scenario, but it's not that bad. You draw the picture, first piece plus the second piece equals the whole thing, and then you plug in. But again, the big thing is do not try and do these without drawing a picture. You will get fast enough that they will only take 30 seconds to draw the picture and label all the pieces. But again, a picture is very important for these.